folks, I'm Jabron.
And I'm Kim.
Welcome to episode 2 of Grapevine's hashtag Through the Vine, your weekly dose of stories picked fresh from the vine in the crazy, awesome, wonderful, and sometimes even very dramatic world of influencer marketing. So Kim, happy Valentine's Week.
Thank you.
Lots of crazy things already in 2018 that is going on in influencer marketing. For those who don't know, I'm sure everybody knows at this point, there's no shortage of Logan Paul content.
No shortage drama. Of the Paul brother drama.
It's as Jake Paul would say, it's everyday bro. And it's taken such a long time for YouTube to kind of figure out what its position on it is. And what's been really interesting is that yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Casey Neistat posted an interview with the head of YouTube business, Robert Kinkle, I believe. And it was a really awesome interview, just talking about how the behind-the-scenes process of YouTube's response. But Kim, you're a creator yourself. What did you think going into that video?
That's a really great question. And as a creator, I sympathize and understand Casey's perspective and many of your perspectives, because I'm someone that had to grow a channel. I know what it takes, and I know the amount of time and effort it goes into growing your channel and the monetization behind that. So to start off, I think it's really great that Robert and Casey sat down and went through some of those really tough questions that I know a lot of us were wondering about. And I'm glad that we're taking the right steps to help solve the bigger issue. But on that note, I guess where I start to have some of my issues is that I feel like a lot of those questions were a little soft. There was no follow-up on a lot of those questions. I know specifically one of the biggest questions that I had was, how did Logan's video end up trending for so long? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And it's really interesting too that what really struck me about Robert was that he admitted himself that he and a bunch of people on the YouTube executive team aren't even creators themselves, right? And that there's a kind of cognitive dissonance and I guess that's kind of factored in to when you see Logan's video trending for so long, because it's you see a YouTube engineer is oh, this is getting so many clicks, why not keep this trending? Yeah. But there's no sort of active curation going on.
What's the protocol for that? Is that going to happen again? And I know Robert did address a few solutions to why this won't happen again, but I don't think it's enough. Mm-hmm. I think people really just want answers, and I don't know if the answers that were given in Casey's video were exactly what people were looking for.
Right, and it's hard. It's so hard, at least from a YouTube business perspective, to kind of tread the line, because as he admitted themselves, each side thinks the other, creators think YouTube is on the brand side, and brands think it's on the creator side.
I'm glad, again, that we're taking proactive steps with Casey and Robert making that video together. I think that's a huge signal for everybody.
So not only is there drama going on in the world of YouTube, but also in the world of Snapchat. Snapchat recently rolled out a bizarre new update. I don't know whether it was mandated by their board or whether it was an Evan Spiegel decision, but now they're putting Bitmojis, I guess in a bid to differentiate themselves from Instagram, to put Bitmojis at the front and center, which has really kind of disrupted how particularly Gen Z teens have used Snapchat to simply to chat with their friends, slide into DMs or whatever, and people on the internet from their user base of people under 25 to major celebrities like Kylie Jenner, who has a great video, by the way, about her baby. Please go watch that.
We love Stormy.
And also Chrissy Teigen is also putting Snapchat on blast. But Snapchat's not budging. They want to do this.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a little weird. First and foremost here, guys, I did not understand this update until we went and filmed this video, and I actually had to update my Snapchat to see what the issues were, and I hate it. I really don't like it. I think the thing with these changes with platforms, we saw this with Facebook a few years ago, where they would constantly update and change things, and of course everyone's really upset about it at first, but inevitably you get used to the new platform, you get used to the new features, and things are fine. I think Snapchat's a different territory.
Because we can't do this, big tech companies can't do this anymore for platforms that are so widely used by such a vocal audience.
It's a vocal audience, it's a young audience, it's an audience that wants to be involved in new rollouts, new features. It's an audience that wants to be involved, and you can't ignore that. Appreciate that and accept that, because that's such a good thing to have as a brand. And I think the large user base of Snapchat is saying, like, hey, this is not working, we need to fix things. Snapchat should listen to that, should hear that, and make adjustments based on that feedback.
Right, and there are so many studies that show that, like, brands, when they authentically engage with their user base, millennials in particular, want to feel like they have an input in something. They want to feel like they're a part of something. So there is a massive dissonance when you kind of separate the decision making from the actual user base, and people are upset because it's like, this is a platform that some people are making money on. This is a platform that some people use as their primary form of communication, and when you disrupt the user base so much without their input, people are going to pick a different platform. We talk a lot about Instagram, and speaking of Instagram, there's recently a report that shows that Facebook actually lost 2.8 million users last year to the beautiful Instagram platform.
We love Instagram over here. We're like Team Instagram all the way, if you can't tell.
And so that's really interesting, because that's a lot about kind of like the future, I think, of platforms. My question to you, though, is like, for brands looking to, connect with influencers on Facebook and Instagram, is it still, worth their time to be using Facebook, or should, brands be doubling down on Instagram?
I think that all depends on the brand and what their end goals are. If you're a brand that is skewing older and you want to reach an older demographic, hands down, go to Facebook. You're going to have an older demographic there. But if you're a young brand, if you want to reach millennials, if you have visual content, Instagram all the way.
And, my question for you is, Facebook also owns Instagram, right? Do you see envision in 2018, in order to recapture those users into Facebook, more integrations with Facebook? Because I read this really interesting thing, basically, where it's like, when you're trying to avoid toxic news feeds, well, guess what? Instagram isn't really toxic at all, because it's just really authentic. It is really, it is raw, right? And so do you think Facebook could start actually looking more like Instagram?
I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, I'm not inside of Facebook's mind, I guess, but what I think is that Facebook has such a set user base. It skews older. My mom uses Facebook. My family uses Facebook. I really only use Facebook to talk to relatives and things along those lines. And the people on Instagram are just a different set within the age groups that both platforms market to. So I don't necessarily think there'll be huge crossover for that reason. I can't envision those age groups really crossing over too much, because the needs of each group are so different. The people that are using Facebook maybe don't necessarily want to scroll through a bunch of photos. People that are scrolling through Instagram looking at memes, which your girl does, I don't go on Facebook to do that. So I just think the reasons that I use each platform are so different, and I feel like that's probably pretty common. So I think because of that reason, you're not going to see a lot of cross-pollination between the two.
Cool. So in short, under 25 millennials be using Instagram. Some of the older people definitely be using Facebook. Thank you so much, Kim. So that's a wrap on episode 2 of #Through the Vine.
#Through the Vine. We want to see it on Twitter.
Make it trending.
Make it trending.
Make it trending. If you have any feedback or questions, definitely comment below. We're going to keep comments open. We'll talk about them in the next video if they're good, so make them good. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to the Grapevine channel for all future episodes of Through the Vine. Anyways, so this is Gibran.
And Kim.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys!
Hey guys, I'm Gibran.
Oh my god. This is always when I adjust my hair.
Right. So I sit up
It's
straight.
the hair. You have lipstick on your teeth. There's really no going back. It's happened. When I look sideways, I get a double chin.
Yeah.
I'm self-conscious.
Oh yeah, same. So I have to I need to raise my chin up. Double chin. Everybody on the internet is mad.
Jen! In our minds, so I'm sure Snapchat will roll out some new. Damn it! I can't do this when people walk by that look in here.
We're just trolling. We're rambling, but
Not sponsored, but you should.